Maya doesn't need to speak, my sister said, like she was discussing a centerpiece instead of my child. She's too sensitive, Natalie. Harper fits the family moment better. That was the first time I understood my daughter had not been forgotten. She had been edited out. My name is Natalie Brooks. I was 36 years old, living in Denver, Colorado, in a 2-bedroom house with a narrow porch, a stubborn furnace, and a daughter who still believed people meant what they promised. I worked as a communications manager for a children's hospital. That meant I knew how to stay calm when phones rang before sunrise, when parents panicked, when reporters wanted answers, when a room full of adults needed one person to speak clearly. People at work called me steady. In my family, steady meant available. If my mother needed someone to call Medicare about Dad's prescription, she called me. If my father could not open a tax form, he called me. If my sister Vanessa needed a vendor email rewritten so it sounded warmer, cleaner, more on brand, she sent it to me with a little heart emoji, because apparently manipulation comes in seasonal colors now. My mother, Evelyn Brooks, had a soft voice and the kind of smile that made strangers trust her at church potlucks. She could ask for a favor in a tone so sweet, you would thank her for handing you the burden. "You're so good at this, honey," she always said. For years, I thought that meant she trusted me. Later, I learned it meant she had found the family mule and named it Capable. My father, Harold Brooks, was gentler, retired, 72. A little slow on stairs, careful with salt, quick to pat my shoulder when Mom pushed too hard. He loved me, I believed that. But whenever Mom chose Vanessa, whenever Vanessa made herself the sun and expected the rest of us to orbit politely, Dad went quiet. He called it keeping the peace. I called it standing in the room while I disappeared. Vanessa was 34, a real estate agent in Boulder, and she had built her life like a listing photo. Bright kitchen, smiling husband, polished daughter, matching sweaters in fall, Christmas cards thick enough to stop a bullet. Her husband Grant was a personal financial advisor, the type who could say long-term strategy while avoiding his own credit card statement. Their daughter Harper was 10. Harper was not cruel. She was a child placed under bright lights by adults who liked how innocence looked on camera. My daughter Maya was 9. She had my brown eyes, her father's quiet chin, and a habit of folding napkins into tiny squares when she felt nervous. After my divorce 3 years earlier, she stopped asking for much. She did not demand attention. She did not interrupt adults. She watched rooms before entering them, as if every doorway required permission. So when my father told her she could read a short letter at his and Mom's 50th anniversary dinner, she held that promise like a candle. The dinner was supposed to happen at a mountain lodge near Glenwood Springs, close enough to Aspen for Mom to say Aspen area without actually paying Aspen prices. There would be snow outside the windows, a stone fireplace, old wedding photographs, catered roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans with almonds, a cake with gold trim, and 36 relatives flying in through Denver International Airport. Mom said 50 years of marriage happened only once. And as usual, the once-in-a-lifetime dream landed on my credit card. I booked the lodge, I paid deposits, I arranged catering, the cake, the photographer, the shuttle service, the printed programs, and the slideshow of old family photos. By the time the week of the dinner arrived, I had advanced $19,600. Mom promised everyone would settle up afterward. Vanessa promised she would handle the visual side. Grant promised he would look at the budget. Dad called me late one night and said, "Dad appreciates you, sweetheart." I wanted that to be enough. That was the embarrassing part. Even after all those years, some foolish piece of me still wanted a private thank you to outweigh a public pattern. Maya cared only about her letter. She practiced in front of the hallway mirror, wearing the pale blue dress my mother had agreed to take in at the waist. Her voice shook on the first line. Dear Grandma and Grandpa, thank you for showing us what staying together means. Then she stopped and looked at me. Do you think Grandma will like it? I swallowed the ache in my throat and told her, I think you wrote something beautiful. 3 days before the dinner, Mom came to my house with the blue dress folded over her arm. She did not step fully inside. That should have warned me. My mother never delivered fabric without also inspecting whether my throw pillows looked tired. She placed the dress on the back of a chair. Mom thinks it would be better if Maya doesn't speak. I stared at her. Mom thinks? She clasped her hands, wearing that wounded expression she used whenever she was about to hurt someone and wanted credit for feeling bad about it. Vanessa's worried Maya might get overwhelmed. Harper has been preparing too, and she's very confident. We just want the evening to feel peaceful. Peaceful for who? Her mouth tightened. Natalie, don't make this about you. This is your father's anniversary. There it was, the family gavel. Don't make this about you. I did not argue in the doorway. Not yet. Maya was in the kitchen, humming while she packed crayons into a little canvas bag for the drive. I let Mom leave. I closed the door softly. Then I opened my laptop. The draft program sat in my inbox, attached to an email Vanessa had sent to the printer. At the top was a gold script title, Harold and Evelyn Brooks, 50 Years of Love. Halfway down, under Grandchildren Tribute, there was only one name, Harper Reed, not Maya Brooks. Below that, in the family introduction, it said my parents were celebrating surrounded by their daughter Vanessa, son-in-law Grant, granddaughter Harper, and loved ones. Loved ones. That was where they put me. Not daughter, not the woman who had arranged the entire event, not the person whose card held the deposits together. Loved ones. Maya was not even granted that. I read it once, then again, then a third time, because the mind does strange little errands when the heart is trying not to break. There are many ways to erase someone. My family chose a cream-colored program and a polite font. The night I saw that program, I did not cry. That would have been too simple, too clean. Tears would have given the moment a beginning and an end. Instead, I sat at my kitchen table with the laptop glow on my face, listening to the old refrigerator hum like it knew better than to interrupt. Maya was asleep down the hall. Her blue dress hung on the back of her closet door. Her letter sat folded inside a library book because she said important papers felt safer between hardcovers. I kept looking at the words, loved ones. Not because I did not understand them. I understood them perfectly. That was the problem. In my family, words always came dressed for church. A favor was never a favor. It was just one little thing. Money was never money. It was, we'll settle up later. Disrespect was never disrespect. It was, don't be so sensitive. And silence, my father's favorite costume, was called peace. The system had not started with the anniversary dinner. It had been built over years, one polite request at a time. When Mom's homeowner's insurance went up, I was the one who spent my lunch break comparing policies while eating a protein bar over my keyboard. When Dad's cardiology portal locked him out, I reset the password, downloaded the lab results, and explained the cholesterol numbers while he said, I don't know what I'd do without you, Nat. He meant it kindly. That was what made it harder. Vanessa never asked for help like she needed it. She asked like she was assigning something to the correct department. Nat, can you smooth this out? Nat, you're better with wording. Nat, Mom gets overwhelmed when I ask her directly. Somehow I was always the calm one, the capable one, the one who could handle it. Divorce had only made that worse. After my marriage ended, people started treating my strength as if it had grown out of the wreckage for their convenience. Nobody asked if I was tired. They just admired how well I carried things, then added more. There was the Thanksgiving 3 years earlier when Vanessa forgot to order the pies and called me from Boulder in a panic. I drove across town in freezing rain to pick up 2 pumpkin pies and 1 pecan, then arrived at Mom's house to hear Vanessa tell everyone, Natalie loves doing the practical stuff. The practical stuff. That was family language for the work nobody wanted photographed. There was Dad's dental surgery, when Mom said she could not handle the paperwork because medical forms made her anxious. I took half a day off, drove him to the appointment, signed the discharge instructions, picked up soup from King Soopers, and sat with him until the anesthesia wore off. Mom later told her bridge club, Harold did so well. We were blessed. We. That word had done a lot of theft in our family. I tried not to resent it. I told myself every family had roles. Vanessa was the bright one, the pretty one, the one Mom bragged about at luncheons. I was the steady one, the reliable one, the one you called when the pipes burst or the airline lost luggage or a bill had a late fee nobody wanted to mention. I could live with that when it was only me. That was another lie I had told myself. Because children study the rooms they grow up in. Maya had watched me say yes with tired eyes. She had watched me smile through insults wrapped in concern. She had watched me clean up after people who later stood in family photos as if they had carried equal weight. One evening, about a month before the anniversary, she had asked me why Grandma always sounded nice when she was telling me what to do. I had laughed too quickly. That's just how Grandma talks. Maya had looked down at her cereal bowl and said, It still feels like telling. I remember that sentence now as I stared at the program. It still feels like telling. Maybe my daughter had seen the shape of it before I did. Children often do. Adults love to pretend kids are innocent because the alternative is admitting they have been taking notes. I closed the laptop, then opened it again. The email from Vanessa sat there, neat and cheerful. Attached is the revised program. Printer needs approval by noon tomorrow. Revised. That meant someone had changed it. Someone had looked at the old version, seen my daughter's name, removed it, and sent the file forward like they were correcting a typo. Maya Brooks. Delete. Natalie Brooks. Reduce. Harper Reed. Center. The cruelty was not loud. That was why it worked so well. Loud cruelty gets witnesses. Quiet cruelty gets stationary. I stood up and walked to Maya's door. She was asleep on her side, one hand tucked under her cheek, the way she had slept since she was little. On her nightstand was a pink sticky note where she had written, Practice slow, look up, smile at Grandpa. I had spent years letting my family teach me that my place was wherever they needed me. I would not let them teach my daughter that hers could be erased whenever someone prettier fit the picture. The idea began after church, in my parents' kitchen. Mom spread a folder across the table like she was planning a royal reception instead of a family dinner. Lodge photos, cake designs, linen colors, and one page marked with a yellow sticky note. This one, she said, tapping a lodge tucked between pine trees. It feels like us. A stone fireplace, tall windows, snow on the roof, warm lights low enough to make everyone look kinder than they were. It's near Glenwood Springs, I said. Close enough to Aspen, Vanessa added. Vanessa could stretch geography if it made something sound richer. Dad turned his coffee mug in both hands. Your mother has dreamed about this for years. Mom touched his sleeve. 50 years, Harold. Half a century. We should do it properly. Properly was a dangerous word in our family. It meant someone else had chosen the expensive version. I should have asked who was paying and whose name would be on the contracts. But Dad looked fragile. Mom had tears in her eyes, and their 1974 wedding photo sat between us like a witness. So I said, I can check availability. That sentence was the match. By Monday, I had called the lodge. By Tuesday, I had a hold on a private dining room for 36 guests. By Friday, I had a spreadsheet with catering, shuttle estimates from Denver International Airport, and relatives flying in from 4 states. Mom wanted roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans with almonds, and a vanilla cake with gold trim. Vanessa wanted the tables to look elevated but intimate, a phrase that should be banned unless the speaker is paying. Grant leaned back during the family call and said, "We should keep an eye on the budget." I almost laughed. Grant never offered money first. He offered concern. The lodge required a deposit. So did the caterer. The photographer needed half up front. The printer wanted payment before programs. The shuttle company needed a car to secure vans. Every time I forwarded a cost, Mom replied, "We'll settle everything after the dinner, honey." Vanessa sent heart emojis. Grant sent thumbs up reactions. Dad called privately. "Nat, I know this is a lot. Dad appreciates you, sweetheart." I wanted to say, appreciation does not clear a balance. Instead, I said, "It's okay, Dad. I've got it." That was the sentence I had been trained to say. By the first week of December, my card had carried the lodge, catering, shuttle, photographer, printed programs, cake order, and the smaller charges that appear whenever a family event pretends to be simple. The total sat at $19,600. I told myself it was temporary. Maya saw the dinner as pure. She helped me choose photos for the slideshow. When she found a picture of me and Vanessa in matching Christmas pajamas, she asked why Aunt Vanessa used to hold my hand. "She was little," I said. Maya studied the photo. "She looks like she liked you." I did not know how to answer. That night, I made folders on my laptop. Lodge, catering, cake, guests, shuttle, program, slideshow, payments. My name appeared everywhere. At the time, I thought that meant I was helping. Later, I understood it meant I was exposed. Maya chose the dress because it reminded her of winter sky. Not the bright blue of summer, she told me, the softer kind. The kind you saw above Denver after snow had fallen and the whole street looked quieter than usual. It was pale blue, knee-length, with tiny pearl buttons at the cuffs. Nothing flashy, nothing that begged for attention. Just sweet, careful, and a little old-fashioned in a way my daughter liked. She said it made her feel appropriate, which was a painful word for a 9-year-old to own. I bought it at a department store sale 2 Saturdays before the dinner. Maya carried it to the register herself, both hands holding the hanger like it was made of glass. "Grandma will think it's pretty," she said. "She will," I told her. I believed that then. Apparently, optimism survives in stupid little corners. The waist needed taking in, and Mom had always been good with the needle. She was the kind of woman who could hem curtains, fix a loose button, and make everyone at church believe she had never said one cruel thing in her life. So I drove the dress to her house, and she held it up under the kitchen light. "Maya picked this?" "She did." Mom smiled. "It's very sweet." Sweet. That was one of her words for things she did not fully respect. Still, she promised to fix it before the lodge weekend. At home, Maya practiced her letter every night after homework. She stood in the hallway mirror with her socks crooked and her hair falling into one eye. "Dear Grandma and Grandpa," she read, "thank you for showing us what staying together means." She stopped there the first time and looked at me. "Is that okay to say? Since you and Dad didn't?" The question hit gently, which somehow made it worse. I walked over and tucked her hair behind her ear. "It's okay. Your grandparents' story is theirs. Ours is ours." She nodded, but I saw her thinking. That was what divorce did to children like Maya. It gave them a quiet room inside themselves where they stored questions adults were too tired to answer. She practiced again. She wanted to thank Grandpa for teaching her how to make pancakes. She wanted to thank Grandma for mailing birthday cards with stickers inside. She wanted to say family meant showing up even when things were not perfect. I nearly stopped her at that line. Not because it was wrong, because it was too right for a room full of people who had confused appearance with love. 3 days before the dinner, Mom came to my house just after 5. The sun had already dropped behind the roofs, leaving the windows dark and reflective. Maya was in the kitchen, sorting crayons into a canvas pouch for the drive to the lodge. Mom stood on my porch holding the blue dress in a garment bag. She did not hug me. That was the first warning. I opened the door wider. "Come in." "I can't stay." Her voice had that careful softness she used before delivering something sharp. She laid the dress over the back of the dining chair and smoothed the plastic with her palm. "It fits better now," she said. "Thank you." She did not move. I waited. Finally, she folded her hands. "Mom thinks it will be better if Maya doesn't speak at the dinner." For a second, the sentence did not land. It hovered in the air like it had entered the wrong house. "What?" She glanced toward the kitchen, then lowered her voice. "Vanessa's concerned Maya may get emotional. It's a big room, a lot of relatives. She's a sensitive child." "My daughter is prepared." "I know, honey, but Harper has been practicing too, and she's very comfortable in front of people. It may be smoother if Harper handles the grandchildren tribute." Smoother. There it was. That polished little word people use when they mean someone inconvenient needs to step aside. Maya was promised that moment by Dad. Mom's face tightened. "Your father only wanted her to feel included." "She is included. That was the point." "Natalie." My name came out as a warning. I stepped closer, keeping my own voice low because Maya was only one room away. "Did Vanessa ask you to say this?" Mom looked offended, which in her case meant yes. "She just wants the evening to feel peaceful. This is not about punishing Maya." "No, it's about rewarding Harper for being easier to display." Mom's eyes hardened. For one brief second, the sugar left her voice. "Do not make this ugly." I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because she had come to my house carrying my child's altered dress like evidence and told me my daughter was no longer welcome to stand where she had been promised. Yet I was the one being warned not to make it ugly. From the kitchen, Maya called, "Grandma!" Mom's face changed instantly, soft again, warm again, the mask sliding back into place so fast it should have made a sound. "Hi, sweetheart," she called. "I just brought your dress." Maya appeared in the doorway, smiling shyly. "Did you fix it?" "I did," Mom said. "You'll look lovely." Maya touched the garment bag with 2 fingers, careful and hopeful. I watched my mother smile at my daughter while hiding the knife behind her back. After Mom left, Maya carried the dress to her room. She hung it on her closet door and stood looking at it for a long time. "Do you think I should read slower?" she asked. My throat tightened. "Yes," I said. "Slow is good." She nodded, satisfied, and went back to her letter. I stood in the hallway, listening to her practice words about family, while the woman who taught me that word had just proven how easily she could bend it. I waited until Maya fell asleep before I opened the file. She had hung the blue dress on her closet door and tucked her letter inside a library book, as if a hardcover could protect it from adults who smiled while taking things away. The house was quiet, except for the furnace knocking in the wall. Denver had gone cold after sunset. In the kitchen window, I saw my reflection. Tired face, hospital sweatshirt, tea gone cold in my hand. Vanessa's email sat near the top of my inbox. "Final draft for approval. Printer needs this by noon." No please, no thank you. Just a file and a deadline. Because in my family, I was not a person. I was a department. I clicked the attachment. The program opened in cream and gold. Harold and Evelyn Brooks, 50 Years of Love. Beneath it was my parents' wedding photo. Dad looked young and nervous. Mom looked beautiful and certain. I scrolled past the welcome toast, dinner, slideshow, cake, and family reflections. Then I saw it. Grandchildren tribute. Harper Reed. Just Harper. There was no typo, no second page, no hidden section. Maya Brooks had not been moved. She was gone. I kept scrolling because some foolish part of me still wanted a clerical mistake. People will beg for stupidity when the alternative is cruelty. Then I reached the family introduction. Harold and Evelyn celebrate 50 years surrounded by their daughter Vanessa, son-in-law Grant, granddaughter Harper, and loved ones. Loved ones. That was where I lived now. Somewhere after Grant, a man who once asked me if a copay counted as medical debt while wearing a watch more expensive than my refrigerator. Not daughter Natalie, not granddaughter Maya, not even their family. It was such a polished insult. I took screenshots. I saved the file with the date and the name. Documentation was dull, but dull things survive when lies fall apart. Then I texted Vanessa. Why is Maya's name missing from the grandchildren tribute? Her reply came fast. Don't start. Mom already explained. I looked toward Maya's closed door before typing again. And why am I listed as loved ones instead of their daughter? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. It's just wording, Nat. You're being dramatic. There it was, the family padlock. They had used that sentence for years. After my divorce, after Vanessa returned my car empty, after Mom told relatives I was still healing. Dramatic meant you noticed. Dramatic meant stop making the room uncomfortable for the people who made it cruel. My thumb hovered over the screen, hot with every sentence I wanted to send. Then I heard Maya shift in bed. This was not going to be won in a text fight with my sister. I opened my contacts and found Diane Mercer. Diane and I had met freshman year at the University of Colorado. She was a civil attorney now, sharp in the way clean glass is sharp. I sent her the program, the screenshots, and one message. I needed to look at something. Family issue. Maybe money, too. She called within 3 minutes. Nat, she said, voice low and awake, tell me what they did. Not what happened, what they did. For the first time, I felt the floor under me again. Diane did not waste time comforting me. That was one reason I loved her. Some people hear family and reach for a soft blanket. Diane reached for facts. She asked what had been promised, what had been paid, whose names were on the contracts, and what I had in writing. Everything, I said. Good. Emotion gets dismissed. Paper gets reviewed. I stayed at the kitchen table while she remained on speaker. My tea had gone cold. I pulled up lodge reservations, catering invoices, photographer receipts, shuttle estimates, printer emails, and the cake order Mom called tasteful. Download the files, Diane said. Save copies. Make folders by date. Don't edit anything. Don't argue by phone. You sound like you've done this before. I have. People behave badly in predictable formats. I created a folder called Brooks Anniversary, then added contracts, payments, vendor emails, program, and family messages. It felt cold, almost disloyal. Then I remembered Maya's name missing from the program. Diane asked whether any contracts had been updated after I booked the lodge. I opened the portal. Everything looked familiar. Private dining room, 36 guests, fireplace seating, winter menu, deposit paid. Then I saw a document labeled Updated Event Confirmation. I clicked it. The update confirmed the balance schedule, 2 upgraded family suites, and early access for a video crew. At the bottom, beneath the signature line, was my name, Natalie Brooks. Electronic signature accepted. Timestamp, Tuesday, 11:47 p.m. I didn't sign this, I said. Are you sure? The question was careful, not doubtful. I'm sure. Where were you Tuesday night at 11:47? I knew before I checked. Maya had been at art class. The teacher brought snacks. By the ride home, Maya's lips were itching, and a rash had spread along her neck. It was not life-threatening, but it made my heart forget its job. I drove her to the pediatric ER. I remembered the parking level, blue 3. I remembered Maya curled under a thin blanket, embarrassed by the red blotches on her skin. I opened my phone. A text to the art teacher at 10:18 p.m. A discharge note at 11:32 p.m. A parking receipt at 11:58 p.m. A photo of Maya asleep in my passenger seat at 12:06 a.m. I sent everything to Diane. For seconds, she said nothing. Her silence was not like Dad's. His silence hid. Hers measured. Finally, she said, "Nat, this is not just messy anymore." I looked again at my name on screen. A name is supposed to mean permission, consent, choice. On that contract, my name had become a tool someone else picked up while I was holding my sick child's hand. "What do I do?" I asked. "You do not call Vanessa. You do not call your mother. You preserve it." "My daughter was in the hospital," I said. "And while I sat there with her, somebody used my name to make the party prettier." Then we make sure they do not call this a misunderstanding. I saved the document. I took screenshots. I drafted an email to the lodge requesting device information, access history, and who initiated the update. My fingers stopped shaking by sentence 3. When I hit save, the house no longer felt quiet. It felt like it listened. The next morning, I checked my credit card before I made coffee. That was how quickly suspicion changes your habits. One night earlier, I had trusted my family badly. By sunrise, I was refreshing a banking app like it might confess. There it was, luxury legacy video package, $3,450. I stared at the charge until the numbers blurred. I had approved a basic videographer, 1 camera, short family footage, a clean recording of toasts for relatives who could not attend. Nothing fancy, nothing with the word luxury attached to it like perfume sprayed over debt. I called the video company from my car after dropping Maya at school. "Good morning," a woman said. "Summit Frame Productions." I kept my voice even. Hospital work had taught me that panic made people defensive. Calm made them talk. "This is Natalie Brooks. I'm calling about the Brooks 50th anniversary booking." "Oh, yes. The legacy package." The word landed wrong. "I approved the basic family event package." A pause. "Well, we received an upgrade request from Vanessa Reed. It includes 2 cameras, family interviews, drone exterior shots if weather allows, a highlight reel, and 3 vertical social media edits." Social media edits? "Yes, ma'am, for the family legacy branding. She mentioned real estate use, but said the event was family approved." My hand tightened around the steering wheel. "And the payment?" "Well, she said your card was already on file and that you handle payments for the family." Of course she did. My sister had reduced me to a wallet with reliable Wi-Fi. I asked the woman to send me the upgrade request, the invoice, and the exact language Vanessa used. She hesitated until I told her I was disputing authorization and needed records. That loosened the professionally cheerful tone. By the time I reached the hospital parking garage, the email had arrived. Vanessa had written, "We want this to feel warm, aspirational, rooted in family trust. My sister handles payment, so please keep billing under Natalie Brooks." Family trust. I laughed once, hard and humorless, alone in my car. If hypocrisy burned calories, Vanessa would have been a wellness coach. I opened Vanessa Reed Realty's website. The homepage showed her standing in front of a bright white kitchen with Grant and Harper beside her. Underneath was the slogan, "Legacy Homes, Family, Roots, Trust." The same words, family, roots, trust. There was also a draft campaign post on her business page, scheduled but not yet live. A teaser photo of my parents' old wedding portrait. Caption, celebrating the kind of legacy every home should be built on. My parents' marriage, my credit card, my child erased from the scene. All of it feeding Vanessa's perfect little machine. Harper fit that machine. Blonde curls, confident smile, both parents still married, the kind of child who looked good beside a fireplace and a gold anniversary cake. Maya, with her quiet voice and divorced mother, did not. That was the part I could not unknow. At lunch, I sent everything to Diane. The charge, the vendor email, Vanessa's wording, screenshots from the real estate site. Diane called 20 minutes later. Nat, sign the engagement letter I sent you. Well, you think it's that serious? I think someone used your card, your name, and your event contracts to benefit a business. My family's business image. Still a business. I looked through the glass wall of my office at a poster for the hospital's winter fundraiser. Consent forms, media releases, photo permissions. I handled those every week. Children could not be photographed for promotional use without clear permission. My daughter had been removed from a family program because she did not serve the image, and I had been billed for the image. I signed Diane's letter before my lunch break ended. Then I opened a blank document and started listing everything in order. Not how it felt, not what I wished they had meant, just dates, charges, names, messages, documents. For the first time in years, I stopped writing the family version. I started writing mine. Diane sent instructions the way other people send recipes. Call the credit card company, freeze the card, dispute the $3,450 charge, notify every vendor in writing that no change was approved unless it came directly from me. Do not sound angry, she said. Sound precise. That may be harder. Then pretend you're writing for the hospital. At the hospital, I wrote sentences nobody could wriggle out of. Clear, calm, impossible to twist. I called the card company from my office. The representative asked if I had authorized the upgrade. No, I said. She opened a dispute and issued a new card. I added that the charge was tied to an event contract under review for unauthorized changes. Next, I emailed the lodge for access history on the updated confirmation, timestamp, device, IP address, and the email tied to the signature request. I did not accuse. I simply wrote that the electronic signature was disputed. Then I emailed the video company. Until further notice, no upgraded package, social media edit, interview, drone footage, or brand use material is approved under my name or payment method. I read that sentence twice. It was beautiful in the way a locked door is beautiful. By noon, the shuttle company, printer, and photographer had the same rule. Changes must come from me in writing with direct confirmation. The lodge paused the room upgrades. The video company suspended the luxury package. The shuttle schedule stayed unconfirmed. The printer asked whether I still wanted the program printed. Not yet, I wrote. Then I emailed Mom, Dad, Vanessa, and Grant. Due to unauthorized charges, a disputed electronic signature, and changes made to the family program without my consent, all services under my name are paused until costs are clarified, funds are accounted for, and Maya's role is restored or the program is corrected. For 37 minutes, nobody answered. Then Vanessa began calling. I did not pick up. Voice calls were fog, texts were footprints. Are you seriously doing this to Mom and Dad? You are making Harper feel like she did something wrong. Then came the blade she always kept polished. This is what happens when you never heal from your divorce. You turn every family moment into your pain. My reply stayed steady. Harper is not the problem. Adults using Harper as a shield are. Mom texted next. Natalie, you are upsetting your father. His blood pressure does not need this before the anniversary. I looked at the message while the hospital intercom called for transport 2 floors below. Real emergencies had a sound. My mother's guilt did not get to borrow one. Then everyone should stop making this harder on him by hiding the truth, I wrote. If you are listening to Natalie's story, leave a like and comment what you would tell her to do now. Should she protect the dinner, protect her daughter, or finally protect herself? Stay with this story, because the truth behind that family table is not finished yet. Later, my phone showed 7 missed calls from Vanessa, 2 from Mom, and 1 voicemail from Grant. I did not listen to any of them. For the first time in my life, I had not slammed a door. I had locked one. Mom called at 6:18 that evening. Maya was at the kitchen counter, packing celery sticks, and I was pretending my hands had not been shaking all day. I let it go to voicemail. Then Mom called again. Maya looked over her shoulder. Grandma? Probably. Are you in trouble? That was how children translated certain rings in a house. Not phone, trouble. I stepped into the hallway before answering. Natalie, Mom said, my name already sounding like a charge. What are you doing? I sent an email. You froze the lodge. You embarrassed Vanessa. The printer says the program is on hold. The program erased my daughter. She exhaled as if the truth had bruised her. Your father's blood pressure was up this afternoon. There it was. Dad's heart, placed on the table like a hostage. Did he see a doctor? That is not the point. It is if you are using his health to end this conversation. Silence pressed through the line. Natalie, this weekend is not about you. No, it is about you, Dad. And a family dinner I paid for. Well, we were going to settle everything. When? After Maya sat in the back and watched Harper read the only tribute? Mom's voice cooled. Maya is sweet, but sensitive. Vanessa only wanted the evening peaceful. Peaceful. That word had done more damage in my family than shouting ever could. Peaceful meant nobody questioned Mom. Peaceful meant Dad looked at his plate. Peaceful meant I swallowed the insult. Peace is not the same as silence, I said. I am asking one clear question. Did you know Vanessa removed Maya from the program? Mom did not answer fast enough. That was the answer. She thought it would be better, Mom said. Harper's comfortable in front of people. Maya gets overwhelmed. She was not embarrassed until you decided she should be hidden. Something moved behind me. Maya stood at the end of the hallway in her socks, holding the folded pages of her letter against her chest. Her face had gone still in the way children go still when they are trying not to be seen. Mom, she whispered. On the line, Mom said, Natalie, are you there? I hung up. Maya looked at the phone, then at me. Did I do something wrong? The words were so small, I almost missed them. I knelt before her and took her hands, careful not to crush the letter. No, I said. No, sweetheart. You did nothing wrong. But Grandma doesn't want me to read. I could have lied. A soft lie would have been easier for one night. But easy lies were how we had gotten here. Grandma and Aunt Vanessa made a wrong choice, I said. They want the dinner to look a certain way, and that is not your fault. Is it because I might cry? If you cry, that means you have feelings. People do not get to punish you for that. Her mouth trembled. I practiced slow. I know you did. I was going to look at Grandpa. I know. She leaned into me then, folding into my shoulder like she was tired of standing. I held her while my phone lit up again with Mom's name. I did not answer. That night, with my daughter's letter bent between us, I understood who had been left unprotected. I reached for my phone and texted Diane. I am done protecting their version of the story. Diane called the next morning while I was packing Maya's lunch. Ask your father one question, she said. Has he reimbursed anyone for the anniversary yet? I stopped with the peanut butter sandwich, half wrapped in wax paper. Why? Because people who misuse one payment usually have another one nearby. That was the thing about Diane. She never made drama bigger than it was. She just knew where rot liked to spread. After I dropped Maya at school, I called Dad from the parking lot. He answered on the third ring. "Hi, sweetheart." His voice already sounded careful. Mom had probably told him I was upset, which in our family meant I had become inconvenient. "Dad, did you send any money for the anniversary?" A pause. "Well, yes, I thought you knew." My fingers tightened around the phone. "How much?" $10,250. I closed my eyes. "Who did you send it to?" "Vanessa helped me with it. She said you were buried at work and she could get it where it needed to go." "Dad." The word came out low enough that he went quiet. "Send me the confirmation." "Nat, I don't want to make things worse." "Dad, things are already worse. Send it." 10 minutes later, an email arrived from him with a bank screenshot attached. Recipient, Vanessa Reed Realty LLC. Amount, $10,250. Not the lodge, not the caterer, not me. Vanessa's business account. I stared at the words until they stopped looking like words and started looking like proof. Dad agreed to meet me at a diner near his house in Lakewood. Not Mom's kitchen, not the living room where Evelyn could sigh loudly and redirect history. A diner. Neutral ground, with vinyl boots and coffee strong enough to qualify as a small emergency. He was already there when I arrived, sitting with both hands around a mug. The waitress called him sir and refilled his coffee. He thanked her like a man grateful for any kindness that did not ask him to choose sides. I slid into the booth across from him and placed a printed screenshot between us. "Dad, did you know this was Vanessa's business account?" He looked down. At first, he seemed confused. Then the color drained from his face in slow stages. "She told me it was easier," he said. "For who?" His mouth opened, then closed. "She said the vendors needed payment quickly. She said you had already done so much, and this would take pressure off you." It didn't take pressure off me. I never received it. I thought she was helping. You wanted to think that. He flinched. I hated that it hurt him. I hated more that I still cared whether it hurt him. For years, Dad had been the soft place in the family. The one who called after Mom cut too deep. The one who said, "You know how your mother is," as if a familiar wound stopped being a wound. But softness without courage had a cost. And somehow, that cost kept landing on me. "Dad," I said, "this is not just you staying out of it anymore." He rubbed his thumb along the handle of his mug. "I didn't know." "No, but you also didn't check." His eyes lifted. That was the moment he heard me. Not as the capable daughter, not as the woman who always fixed the spreadsheet, as someone who had been standing in front of him for years, asking him to look. "Your silence is not neutral anymore," I said. "It has a routing number." He looked back at the screenshot. Around us, ordinary life kept going. Plates hit tables. Someone laughed near the counter. A little boy in a Broncos hoodie spilled orange juice and his mother grabbed napkins before it reached the floor. Dad's hand shook slightly when he folded the paper. "What do you need me to do?" It was the first useful question he had asked in a long time. "Tell the truth," I said. "Not to me in private. Not later. Not after Mom decides how it should sound." He nodded once. I did not know if he could become brave at 72. People love redemption when it arrives clean and cinematic, preferably with soft music and nobody having to repay $10,000. Real change is uglier than that. It starts with an old man staring at a bank transfer and realizing peace has been very expensive for the wrong people. Dad put the screenshot in his jacket pocket. "I'll ask Vanessa," he said. "No," I told him. "You'll ask her in front of everyone." By noon, Vanessa had stopped calling me and started calling everyone else. That was her gift. She knew how to move a story before facts could put on shoes. The first text came from Aunt Marlene in Arizona. Natalie, honey, your mother says there's tension about the anniversary. Don't let money ruin family. I sat in my car outside the hospital. Snow scraped across the windshield. Money had not ruined our family. Money had revealed the floor plan. Before I could answer, Diane called. Do not send a paragraph, she said. Screenshot everything. If you respond, keep it boring. Boring was not my mood, but boring had legal value. I wrote Aunt Marlene one line. There are unauthorized charges and contract changes under review. I'm keeping records and handling it carefully. She did not reply. Then the lodge emailed. The disputed update had come through a device and access pattern different from my previous logins. The coordinator paused all room upgrades and required direct written confirmation from me. I forwarded it to Diane. Good, she replied. Now, vendor trail. Summit Frame Productions sent their record. Vanessa had requested the luxury package, social media edits, and warm family interview prompts suitable for a real estate legacy campaign. There was no written approval from me, just Vanessa's assurance my card handled family expenses. The shuttle service replied next. Airport pickups were not finalized because the remaining balance had not cleared. So Vanessa had promised a polished weekend without paying for the polish. That might have been funny if my daughter had not been the part she chose to buff out. At 3:42 p.m., Grant texted me. Come on, Natalie, don't make this legal. Grant, the financial advisor. Grant, who corrected Dad while eating food I had paid for. I typed back, then stop making it illegal. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then nothing. That silence told me more than a confession. Grant knew enough to be afraid, but not enough to be honest. By late afternoon, Mom sent a message to the family group chat. Please remember this weekend is about love, commitment, and honoring 50 years. Let's not allow misunderstandings to overshadow what matters. Misunderstandings. My name on a contract was a misunderstanding. My card charge for Vanessa's marketing video was a misunderstanding. My child deleted from the program was a misunderstanding. I took a screenshot. When I picked Maya up from school, she climbed into the car quieter than usual. Is the dinner still happening? She asked. I don't know exactly what it will look like yet, I said, but I know you won't be blamed for it. She nodded once. That evening, Mom left a voicemail. We need to talk in person. Your father is very upset. Vanessa is devastated. Come to the house tomorrow at 7. Bring whatever papers you think you need, if that makes you feel better. If that makes you feel better. I sent the voicemail to Diane. 2 minutes later, she replied, I'm coming with you. Vanessa had spent the afternoon selling a story to the family. Tomorrow, she would have to sit at the table with the receipts. Mom opened the door at 7 sharp. She was wearing pearl earrings and a cream cardigan, dressed like this was a difficult Sunday dinner instead of a meeting about missing money and my name on a contract I never signed. Then she saw Diane beside me. Her smile vanished so fast it was almost honest. Natalie, she said, why is she here? Diane held out one hand. Diane Mercer. I'm Natalie's attorney. Mom looked past her at me. We do not need a lawyer. We are family. I stepped inside without waiting for permission. I thought that too, I said. Then my name appeared on a document my hand never touched. The living room smelled like lemon polish and coffee. Dad sat in his recliner, not leaning back, both feet flat on the floor. Vanessa stood near the fireplace with her arms folded. Grant sat on the couch, phone face down on his knee. That alone told me something. Grant never put his phone face down unless he was hiding from it. From the family room, I heard a cartoon playing. Maya and Harper were supposed to be watching TV. I hated that they were in the house at all, but Mom had insisted Harper was staying over, and Maya had refused to let me go without her. I don't want them talking about me when I'm not there, she had said in the car. That broke something in me quietly. Diane and I sat at the dining table, not the couch, not the soft chairs where mom could turn this into feelings. The table. I took out a folder. Vanessa gave a little laugh. Are we doing court now? No, Diane said calmly. We are reviewing authorization, payments, and event materials. Vanessa looked at Mom. This is insane. Dad did not speak. Mom sat at the head of the table because of course she did. Natalie, this has gone too far. I opened the folder. Then let's bring it back to facts. First, I placed the anniversary program on the table. Cream paper, gold lettering, beautiful enough to make cruelty look expensive. Maya's name was removed from the grandchildren tribute, I said. Mine was removed from the family introduction. Vanessa rolled her eyes. It was wording. Diane wrote something in her notebook. Second, I placed the credit card statement down. Luxury Legacy Video Package, $3,450. Charged to my card without my approval. Grant shifted. Vanessa pointed at the page. That package was for Mom and Dad. It was going to make the weekend special. It included social media edits for your real estate campaign, I said. Her face tightened. Third, I placed a large confirmation on the table. This update was electronically signed under my name at 11:47 p.m. Tuesday. I was at the pediatric ER with Maya. Mom's eyes flicked to Dad. Dad finally looked at Vanessa. Fourth, I placed the bank screenshot between him and my sister. Dad sent $10,250 toward the event. It went into Vanessa Reed Realty, LLC. Vanessa's voice sharpened. Temporarily. Diane looked up. Where is the invoice showing it was held for vendor payment? Vanessa blinked. Diane continued, still calm. Where is the transfer to the lodge, caterer, printer, shuttle service, or videographer? Grant rubbed one hand across his mouth. Vanessa said, I was coordinating. Natalie was busy making this impossible. Well, you told Dad it would take pressure off me, I said. It did not reach me. It did not reach the vendors. It reached your business account. Mom's hand went to her necklace. Vanessa, is that true? Vanessa stared at her like betrayal had finally become inconvenient. It was all going to be handled, she said. Dad's voice came out rough. Did you lie to me? The room changed. Not loudly, not dramatically. It simply lost its air. Vanessa looked at Grant first, not Dad. Grant did not save her. He was too busy calculating the damage, which was probably the closest thing to prayer a financial advisor like him had. I was trying to keep the event together, Vanessa said. No, I said. You were trying to control how it looked. Her eyes cut to mine. You have no idea how hard I worked to keep this family looking normal. The words landed before she could pull them back. Diane stopped writing. Dad stared at Vanessa. Mom looked down at the table. And from the hallway behind us came the soft creak of a floorboard. The floorboard creaked again. Everyone turned. Harper stood in the hallway holding a plastic cup of water with both hands. Maya was behind her, half hidden near the doorway, her folded speech pressed against her sweater. For one breath, nobody moved. Then Mom rose too fast. Girls, go back to the family room. Harper did not move. Her eyes were on Vanessa. Mom, she said, why did you say you had to keep us looking normal? Vanessa's face changed. Not softened, calculated. Honey, grown-ups are talking. You told me Maya didn't want to speak. The room went still in a new way. Maya looked down at the paper in her hands. Vanessa glanced at me, then at Grant. Harper, this is not something you need to worry about. But you said Aunt Natalie was making everything sad. My daughter's fingers tightened around her speech. There are moments when a child's voice can strip the wallpaper off a room. Harper was not accusing. That made it worse. She was only repeating what she had been fed, and the shame of it had nowhere to hide. I pushed my chair back. Vanessa snapped, "Natalie, don't." I looked at her. "Don't what? Let the truth stand where your lie has been standing all week?" Mom said my name sharply, "Not in front of the children." I almost laughed. They loved that line, "Not in front of the children." As if the children had not been carrying the consequences already. Maya looked up at me. Her face was pale, but dry. No tears. Just that terrible quiet she used when she was trying to make herself smaller. "Did Aunt Vanessa not want me in the video?" she asked. My whole chest tightened. Vanessa sighed, and that sigh did something to me. It was not regret, it was irritation. Like my child's pain had become another scheduling issue. "The video needed to feel happy," Vanessa said. "That's all. It was Mom and Dad's anniversary. It didn't need to feel like another sad chapter about Natalie." The words fell hard. Grant closed his eyes. Dad whispered, "Vanessa." But she had already said it. I stood fully. "So Maya was removed because she did not fit the image you wanted to sell." Vanessa opened her mouth, then shut it. Diane's pen rested still against her notebook. Harper looked at Maya. "I didn't know." Maya gave a tiny nod, but she did not answer. She unfolded her speech once, looked at the first line, then folded it again with slow, careful corners. That little motion hurt more than shouting would have. I walked to her and held out my hand. She took it without looking at anyone else. "No," I said, my voice lower than I expected. "This dinner may still happen, but it will not happen by erasing my daughter. It will not happen with my card, my name, Dad's money, and a lie placed in 2 children's mouths." Mom's eyes filled, but tears from my mother had always been complicated. Sometimes they meant pain, sometimes they meant control had slipped. "Natalie," she said, "please." I turned to her. "You keep asking for peace, Mom. What you want is obedience." Dad looked down at his hands. I wished he would speak. I wished, after all the paper on that table, after both girls stood in the hallway wounded by grown-up vanity, he would rise right then and choose us. He did not. Not yet. That mattered too. Diane gathered the documents and slid them back into the folder. Vanessa's voice came from behind me. Smaller now, but still sharp. "You are tearing this family apart." I looked back once. "No," I said. "I'm refusing to let Maya be the thread you pull out so the picture looks cleaner." Harper stepped aside as Maya and I passed. Then, so quietly I almost missed it, she said, "I'm sorry, Maya." Maya stopped. She did not forgive. She did not smile for the adults. She only said, "You didn't do it." Then we walked out into the cold with Diane beside us and the folder under her arm. On the porch, Maya leaned against me. "Can we go home?" "Yes," I said. Behind us, through the front window, the dining room light made everyone inside look posed and trapped, like a family portrait nobody wanted anymore. Maya slept with her speech under her pillow that night. One corner stuck out when I checked on her after midnight. The paper was creased from her hand, soft from all the practice. I stood in the doorway and felt my anger change. It no longer burned. It settled into something colder, something useful. Diane was still awake when I called. "You can keep everything paused," she said. "If the event falls apart, that is not on you." "I know, but I don't want my daughter learning that justice means blowing up the room." After we hung up, I opened my laptop and began to write. Not a plea, not an apology, a decision. The anniversary dinner would continue at the lodge. The private dining room, cake, basic photographer, and original catering plan would remain. The luxury legacy video package was canceled. No interviews, no drone shots, no social media edits, No brand footage built for my parents' marriage and my daughter's humiliation. The grandchildren tribute would be removed unless both girls were included by name and by choice. No ranking, no better fit. The program would be reprinted with neutral wording. Harold and Evelyn Brooks celebrate 50 years with their family and loved ones. Every new charge had to be paid directly by the person requesting it. My card would not cover one more polished lie. I sent the email at 6:12 a.m. to Mom, Dad, Vanessa, Grant, Diane, and every vendor. By 6:19, Vanessa called. By 6:22, Mom called. By 6:24, Grant texted. "This is extreme." I replied. "So was using my name." Vanessa texted next. "You have no idea what you just cost me." There it was. Not Mom and Dad, not the anniversary. Me. I typed slowly. "I know exactly what I stopped paying for." The lodge coordinator answered first. The original booking would continue, with written approval required for future changes. The video company confirmed the upgrade cancellation. The printer asked for revised wording. At 9:30, Mom called again. This time I answered. "Natalie," she said, "you are stripping all the beauty out of this weekend." "No, Mom, I am removing the costume." "Vanessa is devastated." "Maya was devastated in your hallway." "That is not fair." "No," I said, "it wasn't." Then Dad's voice came onto the line. "Nat, I got your email." And a long breath. "I think the dinner should go on the way you wrote it." In the background, Mom said his name like a warning. He did not take it back. It was not a grand speech, just one old man, late to the truth, standing closer to it. "That is a start," I said. When I woke Maya for school, she sat up slowly, eyes cautious. "Is the dinner canceled?" "No." She frowned. "But the lying parts are." Maya thought about that, then nodded as if some private scale inside her had balanced. On Friday afternoon, we drove west toward the mountains. Snow gathered along the highway shoulders. Maya sat in the back seat with her blue dress folded beside her, packed like a choice. My phone buzzed twice from Vanessa. I did not look. Ahead, the mountains rose cold. For once, I was not driving toward a family performance I had been trained to maintain. I was driving toward a table where my daughter would not have to disappear. The lodge looked exactly like Mom had wanted. Snow rested on the roof. Pine trees stood dark beyond the windows. Inside, a fireplace burned low. My parents' wedding photo stood near the cake. Dad young and nervous, Mom bright beneath her veil. From a distance, it was beautiful. Families are dangerous from a distance. Maya walked beside me in her pale blue dress, holding my hand in a small folder. Not her speech, a drawing she had made that morning. Vanessa stood near the fireplace. Grant checked his phone too often. Harper sat at the kids' end of the table, quiet, watching Maya. There was no video crew, no tripod, no drone case, no Vanessa moving relatives around like furniture for her campaign. Just a dinner. Mom kissed my cheek. "You look tired." "And you look busy," I said. We left it there. Dinner came out in safe pieces. Roast chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans with almonds, warm rolls. People talked about flights, traffic, grandkids, and bad knees. American families can discuss traffic if it helps them avoid an emotional crime scene. Maya ate half a roll and kept her folder on her lap. When the cake arrived, Mom reached for Dad's hand. For 1 second, I saw what she wanted everyone to see. 50 years, endurance, a marriage that had outlasted storms. Then Dad stood. His chair scraped the floor. Mom's fingers tightened around his, but he gently pulled free. I need to say something, he said. The room quieted. Dad looked at Mom first, then Vanessa, then me. I spent a long time thinking quiet was the same as peace, he said. I told myself I was keeping this family together by not choosing sides. His voice shook. But when someone is being pushed aside, not choosing sides is a choice. Maya's hand found mine under the table. Dad turned toward me. Natalie, you carried too much. Not just this weekend, for years. I thanked you in private because private was easier for me. That was not enough. My throat tightened, but I did not look away. I'm sorry, he said. Not because tonight became uncomfortable, because I helped make it possible. Mom stared at her plate. Vanessa's face went still. Then Dad looked at Maya. And Maya, he said, his voice breaking on her name. Grandpa is sorry. You never had to earn your place here. Not with a speech, not with being easy, not with making adults comfortable. Maya stood. I thought she might read her letter. Instead, she opened her folder and took out the drawing. It showed a long table. Some people sat close together, some sat farther apart. No one was crossed out. No one was missing from the edge. She placed it near the cake. I drew everyone, she whispered, because I thought everyone belonged. Harper took one vanilla cupcake and set it beside Maya's plate. I saved you one, she said. Maya looked at her, then nodded. It was not a grand reconciliation. Children do not pretend a wound is healed because adults need relief. But it was something clean. Dad sat down slowly. He did not ask me to forgive him. That helped. Vanessa looked smaller without a camera. Mom looked older without a room willing to protect her version of peace. The next morning, the lodge looked smaller. Without candlelight and wedding photos, it was just boots, coffee cups, and relatives hugging goodbye like the family had cracked. Grant found me near the front desk while Maya helped Dad carry leftover programs to his car. Natalie, he said, voice low, we need to resolve this without making it worse. Grant, worse is not the same as public. His jaw tightened. Grant feared paperwork more than yelling. Yelling faded. Paper had dates. Diane sent the demand letter Monday morning. It requested repayment, an explanation of the $10,250 transfer, confirmation that no footage would be used for Vanessa's business, and preservation of messages. The credit card company reviewed the $3,450 charge. The video company confirmed Vanessa requested the upgrade for business use. The lodge sent records tied to the disputed signature. It showed enough. Vanessa sent one email saying she had only wanted the anniversary to be beautiful. I read it once, then closed it. There was a time I would have answered every sentence. I did not do that anymore. Dad called that Thursday. Grant says Vanessa will return the money, he said. All of it. Money never returns dignity in full, but repayment forces a lie to land where it belongs. Vanessa did not apologize when she signed the payment agreement. Grant stood beside her, pale and stiff. Mom called 2 weeks later. Family doesn't feel the same, she said. No, Mom. It felt that way for a long time. I just stopped paying for the performance. From then on, I kept rules. No deposits without written agreements. No using my car for someone else's convenience. No fixing paperwork for people who used my competence and called my boundaries drama. Most of all, no taking Maya anywhere she had to earn a chair. Dad tried. Not perfectly. Real repair is clumsy. He called Maya himself. He came to her school art show with vanilla cupcakes. Her project was titled Home. She had drawn a small porch with me, Diane, Dad, and Harper near the steps. Mom and Vanessa were not there. Maybe later, Maya told me, when they learn how to stand where they don't hurt people. 1 year later, on Thanksgiving, I did not go to Mom's house. I made dinner in my own kitchen. Diane came with pie, Dad brought cupcakes. Maya put place cards on the table because she liked deciding where people belonged. That afternoon, Vanessa texted the family group. Some people choose pride over family. For once, Dad answered first. No. Some people are finally choosing honesty. It did not erase the past, but it cracked the old pattern open. Sometimes, in a family built on silence, one honest sentence is the first window. I won because Maya stopped asking what she had done wrong. I won because my name no longer opened my wallet for people who would not make room for my child. The lesson is simple. Love should never require you to disappear, and family should never treat truth like betrayal. If this story moved you, please leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and tell us where you are listening from. Thank you for staying until the end. Wishing you health, peace, and a home where your name is never erased. See you again in the next story on Revenge Glow.